You know, protests can turn in a heartbeat, and this particular one turned very quickly to something else. You'll see them now going towards the upside, this particular group that was gathered at this one. On the last video, I did show that there were small groups there, small groups there. And on this one, they start moving upside because there were police coming. And they start shooting tear gas. So you see the tear gas dispersing there. That was thingy. Now, you know, in 2 hours, in 2 hours of talking and say, oh no, it's a bit calm. It's not. A lot can happen in that particular period, and that is a pure display from what you see in this thingy. Now, I thought this was very funny because it reminded me of this verse, John chapter number 9, verse number 4, from the King James Version. This is what it says. It says, I must work the work of him that sent me. This is Jesus, right? And it says, while it is day, the night cometh where no man can work. It's only the night workers who work at things. Night workers, we mean people who are dodge. Anyway, so as the night was approaching, by the time I'm recording this, it's about 6 o'clock or so, that's when the activity in the city then started towards this. And of course, the Zimbabwean police were trying to make it sound like there was nothing going on there, which is kind of a bit funny in itself. There was this tweet also posted out right here where they were saying that the situation in Harare is CBD is normal and calm, including Harare Square, Mugabe Square, which is the very same place where I said in the earlier video that there were people there. And where some social media sites are falsely claiming that there were barragement of road blocks. Like, we've shown that. So why are they saying like something completely different? This is what you see. But when I said Zimbabwe is not normal. Like, Zimbabwe is not normal. Like, you see, when I made the first video, I hadn't seen this. So for them to make a video saying, oh no, there's nothing happening, there's no roadblock. They had blocked the road and you could see even cars being turned back. And so it might have not been that big, but there were people that were blocking the road in protest. This is not correct. The individuals probably should ignore calls of individual syndicates through the social media sites to engage in unlawful public gatherings. So I'm guessing this confirms that the statement that was said to be from the police was not from the police. Okay, this confirms that because they are saying it's unlawful to gather in this particular one. Now, when did protests become illegal? Zimbabwe is just not normal. The police, and which is the very same thing that I was saying, Pastor Chris is informing people who might not understand Zimbabwean politics because this is not normal. We protest. It's our right. But anyways, abnormal. That's why they want him out. And so they said the police warned social media sites against circulating old videos aimed at things. Now we need to address that particular part there about circulation of false videos. You see, this is why it's so important to remain on what actually is truthful, because you discredit the true when you publish things that are not established. And I saw a story that makes me even want to make this episode even the more. The story about a boxer from Nigeria who was in a boxing thingy. For the fight, you would have not thought anything of it. It looks like he's pretty much okay. And this shows you the value and the legacy we leave as adults. You see him, this one right here, his hands are a little bit all over. And roughly around there, they continue fighting for a little bit, but you see he's a little bit wobbled. The guy in the red, right? Okay, he passed on, and you see it right here, cause of death, and they state that the guy collapsed during the fight. There are videos that show it. You see, that's why you see we have a very short time. And what we leave, the legacy we leave for our children and so forth, it's worth something. There's people circulating videos, don't go gather, because there are people that are just lying and whatnot. And this goes to videos like this, actually, like this one here. So there are people that were claiming that this video was a recent protest, and this is not a recent protest. But anyways, it also brings me back to the update that I told you about JCTV being held by the police. He gave an update here.
Being held by police from around 10 in the morning. Like I gave you the update that I've been held by the police. So now, let me go home. So I'm on my way home.
All right, so it's hectic. And so he was released after being held for a couple of hours over at the police station, made him write a statement, but they let him go. So this validates that the statement was not proper. That statement that was posted out was not proper, and stuff like that. And so remember, there are legit posts and there are fake posts. And that particular first one that I showed you, where there was police throwing tear gas at thingy, there was a group of journalists there at the time from HSTV who also confirmed pretty much about the same.
We are witnessing protesters chanting anti-2030 slogans. We have just witnessed the police throwing tear gas around them, but they just keep coming back. They also blocked the Rotten Road. They are busy throwing stones.
Now, you will notice everything that she says is contrary to the statement that we saw a few minutes ago. Now, this doesn't shock. This doesn't shock. If you watch the first episode, I showed some ZANU-PF people say, oh no, it's business as usual. And I'm like, it's not business as usual. If you are having to lie that there are no roads that are blocked, and you hear journalists who are there saying that it's been blocked, and you can hear she says that the people are chanting anti-2030 agenda thing, this whole thing of him extending his term in office. And so that is a current video, and it's attached to the first one that you also saw. Now, there is also something else that I saw that I thought was very interesting on Newsroom that also speaks to this whole thing here.
For the time, really appreciated, Mr. Cross. Why don't you just share what you're seeing when it comes to these protests? And is it actually an active protest, or is this just quiet protests that we're ultimately seeing?
I think that's a very key question. I did not expect any particular problems today. I was told by people in the townships and friends that today was likely to be a non-event.
So there he says that he expected that today was going to be a non-event, meaning there was nothing that was going to amount out of everything that is being mentioned. But it was the event. And what was the event exactly is that people didn't treat it as business as usual. The streets were empty. You can see the streets were empty. He thought pretty much people would be there and what. No, it was not. The lie is making it look like, oh no, you guys are blowing this out of proportion and stuff. And this actually is more emphasized even when you watch Passion Java's post on this particular subject. By the way, if you actually listen further within this thing, I wonder if it is actually even playing it. This is what he said further.
And I was very surprised when I went to my office this morning and found nobody there. And
so he says that he went there and he found nobody over at the office. And so the delusion is, oh no, it's a non-event. There was an event, and the event was that people went the opposite direction of the security that was being claimed by the government. And also, there's been also like this other post here. This was an interview on 702. They were pretty much also saying the same thing, is that the absence speaks volume. Okay, how people were willing to quickly not go to town or show up speaks volume over them. This is a different clip also of a different audience, and you can see them throwing stones. They are using this I don't know if it is thingy. This does look like a current thingy, but it also does look like a different site. It's a different site compared to the other one that you think. Or is this where they started? They threw rocks here and then they went to stand where they were. Someone can clarify down that in the comment section. There was also this one here. I can see that it's pretty much the same environment. You can see by those bushes and corner there, it's the same thingy. But you see on this clip here, they seem to have been a little bit more agitated. They were now throwing rocks, and I've muted the audio because you see the person had was at home. I think they were recording this while they were at home. So this was after the tear gas. So this shows it as if it's slightly, probably the same spot where we saw the first footage that we just watched. And so it kind of got a little bit hectic. But also there was a very interesting post that I saw a little bit after that. On this page here, BC, they show a different thingy. I don't know if this was the same gathering audience or what it was. These are protesters. These are protesters, and they do look like a bit of a different audience. Or is it just a different site or something? I don't know. But it looked a little bit of a different environment unless they were walking through the streets. These are the guys who are in South Africa, in Pretoria, in Sunnyside. This video is a very interesting one right here. This video right here is a very interesting one. This is when they say General Chiwenga's cars were passing, and this is how they were chanting. So what do you gather from this, from all these things, from all these clips and whatnot? Because if you go further than that, right? So they chanting when Chiwenga passes. They chanting. They're very excited. Very excited. When the police come, they are appalled at them, throwing things at them and whatnot and all of those kind of things. And then on the other hand, when you go to individuals like Passion Java, they're mocking. He's mocking. He posted this video mocking the whole bombshell, whatnot. Like, you know, there was going to be a big event. It's like he's completely mocking it. And that's why I say it shows you something about things that what Passion Java is doing there, it mocks the efforts of the people for their own freedom. And so for people like Pastor Chris to come up and say, no, there's nothing, you have peace. When people are chanting for people that are trying to remove things, that should tell you something. Is that the ruling elite, with the people that are around them, the Javas and whatnot, is that they have an illusion that people are happy. I have an illusion that people are happy, but they are only happy in their own side. They're happy because they feel like you should be happy. even though you barely can get along, even though you can barely get around in life, yeah, but you should be, It's a very cynical state of things. That tells you that there can be a lot of dishonesty that can spread very quickly without truth being ever heard. For someone to see people saying, you know what, we don't want this person. And then you keep implying, no, they're happy. We don't want this person. Oh, they're happy. And so there was slight protest that actually shows further. That shows further in different other clips and in different places. But the chanting for Chiwenga, scars and stuff like that when they were passing, I thought that was interesting. Because that should tell you what they think about current administration. And also for people like Jao to be mocking. That's just a perfect example of why. That's a perfect example of why they do not serve the people, they serve themselves. The delusions can only fly as far as you think they do. It's Ricky. I'll tell me your thoughts down in the comment section and I'll see you later on.